Then I decided it's a high time and I need to pursue my master's. I'm in Canada right now in Windsor. Part-time job is the biggest thing in Canada.
How much money you should save for the program?
Cheaply, yeah.
Hello, Madan. Thank you so much for this interview. I would like to ask you a few questions, but before that, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure, Apsana. And first of all, I thank you so much for inviting me for your YouTube video. My name is Madaneshwar and I was born and brought up Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu in India. And I did my schooling and bachelor's over there. Bachelor's, I did my BE mechanical and I graduated in the year 2016. Back then, I was into the Society of Automotive Engineers where we used to fabricate and take Formula 3 type car to racing and all. So I was into it. So that's when my passion towards the automobile, towards the mechanical field grew up. So then initially, like after completing my graduation, I intended to do my master's back then itself. So I prepared for GRE, TOEFL, everything. And back then I had financial issues, so I couldn't pursue my master's degrees. And I was working for 1 year in Coimbatore only. Company name is Dharani Motors. So I was working in the marketing part as well as the technical part. So I used to deal with customers and solve their technical issues, everything. And later I was into business for 2 years. I was doing event management. Even now I used to do event management because like back there I have a few contacts so that I can actively take part in it. And I was mainly into motorsports back then, part of JKTI Motorsports as well, even now.
Okay.
Then later, after 2 years, I moved to Muscat in the year 2018, and I was there for 2.5 years. Something I was working for Toyota over there. I was into supply chain and other export marketing as well. Well, then I decided it's a high time and I need to pursue my masters. Then I finally decided and did my IELTS. Since my background is in supply chain and other things, I decided to go into industrial engineering. So not too much of technical part, but still like like an operational kind of job. I'm in Canada right now in Windsor. Windsor is actually the border city to USA. Ambassador Bridge from Detroit, and this side is Windsor.
Right.
So that's a place is a peaceful, like calm place. You'll find many university students around here and multicultural people around here. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, recently I've joined my part time as well. I've joined in Walmart. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going well. It's been 2 weeks, and slowly I'm just adapting to the timings and all those things.
Yeah. Wow, such an impressive and versatile background you have. You started all the way from India to Muscat. Wow, that is like 3 countries you have already covered. Since you mentioned that you are working part time, so tell us more about like how are the job opportunities there? How did you come across this job? How do you apply? And are there plenty of jobs, or what do you think about it?
Part-time job is the biggest thing in Canada because like all students who come over here definitely will go to for a part-time job because like it covers all your living expenses and like your GEIC amount will get saved for your next year's fees also. So it's an advantage for everyone. Most of the students get some part-time job like in and around the city and it will be easy for them to cope up with their living expenses.
Right.
Like for me, what happened was I came to Canada on August first week. So it took like more than a month for me to get my part-time job because like Walmart, it's a like huge MNC company. I had a friend working there, so I had a bit reference over there.
Right.
So for me to get enrolled into an interview process became easier. Then I went for an interview and I cracked it. And there are a lot of procedures. After that, I have to take up some tests and all those trainings to get joined in it. Why I chose Walmart is like to be open, it's like a government job in India. So it's a peaceful job and you'll get a lot of benefits over there. And I like
Plus, it's a brand name. So
yeah, the brand name is there.
yeah.
Here, advantage is Canada is like you can work outside also apart from your university because like in US like you'll have some restrictions to work outside, but in Canada it's not like that. When you're a university student or a college student, you'll have the ability to use 20 hours of your week for your part-time job.
Wow.
And when you're passed out in a work permit, you can work more than 40 hours.
Oh,
So that's a
is
thing
so
there.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a like drastic difference I would say that I'm seeing. Like when you're studying in US versus you're studying in Canada.
Yeah.
Because I guess you need not stick to your field of study. Like
That
I think
correct.
Yeah, you can continue your job into any other field.
Yeah, there are
And
KFCs are there, McD's, like too many places are there to get a job here. Like main three portals which I used is like LinkedIn
Mhm.
and Indeed I used, and I used companies' direct websites to apply to them online.
I see. I see.
Yeah, I didn't only apply for Walmart. I applied for a lot of companies, but thank God I got Walmart well before, so that I had to choose
Mhm.
it.
Mhm. Yeah, excellent. Well, this is the best thing that could have happened to any student because, like you said, it helps to manage your living expenses and all.
Correct.
So, since we are talking about money, now let's talk about the tuition fees and
Okay.
like how much funding is needed even before you get an admit or apply for visa. How much money you should save for the program?
For the admit, the money is not a problem because
Mhm.
you'll be applying online based upon your resume and your academic records. The university will give you an offer letter. For the visa process, that time we have to have the receipt of the fee structure. So for me, it's a 18 months course.
Uh-huh.
My course started on May 2021 and it's going to end on September 2022. So tuition fees of a total amount, I'll be paying nearly $20,000 for nearly a year. Yeah. Yeah. Then for 2 years, it'll take when compared to Indian amount, it'll
Uh-huh.
take nearly maybe 20, nearly 20 lakhs.
Okay. So
Yeah.
$40,000 altogether for 2-year
Yeah.
program or 18 months of program, and
Yeah.
then which is equivalent to approximately 20 lakhs.
Yeah.
So that is, I would say, very reasonable
Yeah.
amount.
Very reasonable compared to
Yeah.
other countries because like
Yeah.
in other countries it'll be expensive for 2 years and all. Like here, once you come up and initially you start working in part time, your living expenses, everything is covered. So
Yes.
what you'll be paying from your pocket is only your tuition fees.
Yes. But do
Yeah.
you have to reserve any money when you are applying?
I had to show all my 3 years income tax statement from India
Ah,
and my
ah,
parents, all the incomes and the property, so that the Canadian government has a trust that okay,
right,
I have sufficient amount of money for
right.
my education and my living expenses.
Right, right, right. So let's talk about prerequisite for this particular program that you applied for. I mean, do you have to give GRE? You mentioned you gave
I
IELTS.
gave GRE, that is before. I planned for
Okay.
US and other places and all.
Uh-huh.
Back then, I wrote GRE
I
in
see.
2016. But for Canada, you need only IELTS to get an entry. Well, if it's like another course like management type of courses, you need to do your GMAT.
I see. So
Yeah,
did they consider your experience because you already have
yeah,
like
yeah.
excellent
They can.
experience, I would say, across the globe. Like you covered already 2 countries, and now you're already applying for study program. So did they consider your experience? Like what do you have to show in terms of the experience? Do you have to show experience letter or something like that? Did it benefit
Yeah,
to get an admit?
yeah, that is beneficial. Well, experience doesn't go in vain now because 4 years of my experience, like it value adds to my profile and everything. So that the recruiters or maybe the university people, when they see my profile, it will be a bit value advantage when compared to other students. So yeah, it is advantages.
So, Madan, tell me, what is the program schedule? Is it like a quarterly or semester pattern? Like how this program has been designed?
So mine is like 18 months course. So
Mhm.
it is divided into like 4 semesters. Here in Canada and university, each semester I have two courses, just two subjects.
Oh, wow.
But it is competitive because like when compared to the colleges,
Mhm.
university the curriculum and other syllabus is hard when compared to colleges because like we are going to a professional world and we should know about all the basics things. Initially the first semester will be a normal basic one and from the second semesters we'll get into our core subjects. Now I'm currently pursuing my second semester.
Oh,
Already I started the core subjects now, which is what they use it in the current professional world.
right.
Yeah. So by next year September, my course ends. I've got a study permit for 2 years,
Uh,
and I can get an extension of work permit for another 3 years after the completion of my studies.
Wow, that is an
Yeah.
excellent opportunity. And there is no restriction
No
as
risk.
like, like immediately after your graduation, you have that period where you have to find, otherwise leave the country. Is there
No.
anything like that?
It's not. It's nothing like US.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how
So there
things
is a
work
thing.
there? Like you have plenty of time to
Yeah, we
apply.
have time after graduation. Maximum in 3 to 6 months, easily we can get full time job and a well paid job as well.
I see. I see. That is so
Yeah,
nice. I'm so jealous now because we in US like it's like you get only 3 to 4 months where you have to find a job. Otherwise, you will have to leave the country. Same thing
yeah.
for the work permit also. So, do you have any restrictions for the work permit? What happens if there is a layoff? And also, what if you do not have a job tomorrow? So, what will happen to your work permit?
So I haven't planned so far and all, but still like because like the pandemic is going in India,
Yes.
here the situation is like going to be normal. Like things are getting better and like each day like everything changes. So yeah, hopefully like things should work and no problem of getting a full-time job and all like after my graduation.
Right.
As my experience also takes play in my career, so yeah, I have a bit of advantages. And what I recommend students who come here is like not only concentrate much on your part-time jobs and other things, like focus well into your curriculum also.
Right.
Like I started doing some extra courses after coming here. Like I've been doing extra course from Coursera, and I've been learning new things so
Oh,
that it will
that's
add
nice.
value to my profile and my LinkedIn profile as well, so that like it'll be more easier for me to get a job
I see.
when compared to other in the competitive world. Yeah,
I see. So, do you have to take any extra paid courses within your university? You mentioned about outside of university, but
yeah, it's outside of university. It's not within the university. Within the university, we'll be studying our normal regular classes
I
as
see.
well.
I see.
So apart from my normal classes, I'll be learning some evaluated courses.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So either I'll be paying or I'll be applying some financial aid because some websites they offer financial aid for students.
Right.
So either that or I'll be paying and doing a course. Like the course duration will vary, like 1 month, 2 months. Like there are many courses depending upon like your interests and your profile. You can choose upon it. So I was into supply chain before and in industrial engineering background. So I choose supply chain Greenbelt.
That is one of the best advice I would say. While you are already pursuing your degree, at the same
Yeah,
time, if you got some time, it is very valuable to add such certifications in your profile so that you can
exactly.
highlight your profile basically.
Correct.
Along with this, just like addition. So that
Yeah.
is a good thing. So, tell me about the cost of living there. Like, how about the rent and Wi-Fi or like other expenses, food and all? Like, how expensive it is? Like Windsor compared to Toronto. I know Toronto is very expensive because I lived there and I just paid like anything. But how about Windsor? Like, how do you manage your living there?
Yeah, living expenses for sure, like it's less compared to Toronto. Here, currently, where I'm living is like I live in a six-bedroom house, so it's a complete individual house, and we six guys live here. I
Okay.
pay a rent of about $320, like only the rent, and
Wow.
plus the Wi-Fi comes in and other utilities. That will come around like $100 nearly. So total $400, complete thing. Like with the utilities, I pay $400 for my rent and utilities. Other than that, my living expenses like getting the groceries and other things like the
Yeah.
transportation, keep it a maximum of $200, no problem.
Uh-huh.
Plus 100 miscellaneous, $700 easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Wow, that is
I'm
such
giving a
a
maximum thing, not a minimum thing. I'm giving a maximum thing like 700 to max 800. That's it.
yeah,
But when you go for a part-time job, easily you can earn around nearly $1,000.
yeah,
So
yeah.
all these things are easily manageable.
Yeah, wow, seriously. Because yeah, Toronto is very expensive. I think you said you have a six-bedroom apartment.
Yeah,
So
we live in
every
individual rooms,
person will have their own bedroom. That
own
is
bedrooms. Yeah.
so basically you're not compromising on your privacy. You have
Correct. Finally, we need some privacy at the
yeah,
beginning. Like
yeah.
we live in a same house, we eat together, we cook together, so everything else is there. But like individual rooms, like that is
Yes,
better for like
yes.
each and everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, Madan, like, did you apply for universities by yourself, or did you go to any admission counselors to help you prepare your application? And like, what was your experience? How many universities you applied to? Tell us more about it.
So I know I didn't apply by myself. I came through consultancy like IDP,
Uh-huh.
and it's there in Coimbatore only in my hometown. So what I used to do is like I contacted them, and like only thing like I chose Windsor. I applied for Concordia as well, and I applied for Windsor. So initially I got Windsor. So I thought because this is the industrial and automotive hub of
Right.
Canada. For my experience and my interest, like I thought Windsor will be a better place for my job opportunities as well. There are a lot of job opportunities are there for this field, and I chose two colleges and I got Windsor, so directly came here.
Oh, wow.
And through the consultancy, like they'll help me out throughout everything for applying to the universities, everything like for the approvals and all those things. For the visa process, also the IDP, the consultancy, they help me.
I see. So, like preparing all your documents like SOP, LOR, then for even visa also, like how do you have to proceed filling your application, everything they help with.
Yeah, applications they help me. Yeah, SOP and LOR I did personally, but
Mhm.
I sent them and they had a team to work on it and they did some corrections and they gave me.
I see. But was it like very costly admission counseling? Because usually people say
I
that it's
didn't
very
I didn't pay
expensive.
a single rupee to them.
Wow,
I
really?
didn't pay a single rupee to them. Actually, they have the tie-ups with the universities over here.
I see.
So we'll not be paying them any money. They'll be contacting the university directly, and it's their process.
I see. Wow, that is so nice. So you could save some bucks there. So tell me, Madan, what sort of paperwork you have to do once you land as a student in Canada? Like, do you have to immediately go for SIN or like photo card, or as a university student, do you have to enroll somewhere to get your card, something like that? So what is the process?
So the basic thing is like the first thing you reach Canada, you have to get your SIN number. SIN number is like you have to go to the Service Canada. Like you have to book an appointment, or else if you don't book an appointment, you have to go there early as possible. People who have appointment, they go inside. Then the security people they'll let us go inside.
Right.
So it's like that. So initially, it's like you have to get your SIN number, and SIM card is a main thing over here because like without calling and other things,
Yeah.
so it will be difficult. So after getting a SIN is the first thing, and then you get your SIM card. There is two categories: the SDS category and non-SDS category. So
Mhm.
SDS like we apply for JSE before itself. For our living expenses, we pay before.
I see.
From India itself, we will pay before to the Canadian government, so that after coming here, we'll open the bank account for it.
Right.
So that is the third step. After getting your SIM number, SIM card, you directly go to the bank, open your GSA account. So that initially, I think you'll get around $2,000.
I see.
So for your initial expenses and all those things, done.
Mhm.
Like till you get a survive or you get a part-time job, not. So that is one advantage in Canada here.
Right.
Like we pay our living expenses before. These three are the main important things, and after that, like a university card and other things like getting a license, like a G2 or G license maybe, and all those things comes next.
For the apartment, did you already find apartment while you were in India, or
There are chances, like there are websites like Airbnb, Kijiji, and Facebook Marketplace. Like many places are there, and many WhatsApp groups are there as well. People like help us find out houses and all. But what we did is like we booked an Airbnb for 14 days because like back then when we came in August, we had to quarantine for 14 days.
I see.
Yeah, we had 3 days mandatory hotel quarantine and 11 days a normal quarantine.
Oh,
But we were fully vaccinated, so they didn't give us a 3-day hotel quarantine. So we directly went to a Airbnb where we booked it for 14 days. Then from there we searched the houses in online and other Kijiji marketplace and all, and we found a house and we came here, visited. Each of us we had gone through the house and like fixed up the rooms for all of us, and then we.
I see. So tell me one thing, you mentioned about vaccination record that you have to show, right? So
Yeah.
because you have to be fully vaccinated.
Yeah, we have to.
But how about other shots? Like, is there any requirement from university that you have to get this particular shot or other shots, something like that?
Yeah, in India there are totally 2 doses. Now it's 4, but before there was 2 doses before the Sputnik and this thing came. So Covishield is the approved one over here. It is in approval, but when we came here, it was not approved. Covaxin. So we had a 2 shot of Covishield. So we didn't have a hotel quarantine. They directly let us in.
I see. So you just have to upload your record basically on ArriveCan and then
ArriveCan,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that is a
And
best.
here in immigration, we have to show them.
I see. So what happened at the immigration? Like, did they ask like a lot of questions, or like how was your experience?
Yeah, experience was pretty well for me. Like after we landed, like that was the time when COVID was peak, and they had like all the arrangements, like social distancing and all those things were there. So we didn't have much problem. Plus we were safe, like masks and all those face shields and everything. So we were safe by then. Immigration didn't take much time for me because this is the first time I'm coming into Canada. So it took nearly 2 hours. We have to do all the registration thing, and the immigration officer will like ask us questions, all the basic questions only. I had to show my documents upon their request. Tuition fees I paid, all the receipts, and like my visa approval, everything, all those like official letters, like we need to show them, and they'll print us a study permit and we can come out.
Oh, So study permit is like will be printed on your passport or like
Not on my
form?
passport. It's a separate form.
I
Our
see.
visa will be printed in the passport.
I see.
Yeah, a study permit is a separate a paper. Yeah,
So basically a document that you can
it's a
carry and
document.
that's
But with
the
that
study.
document only you can get your SIN and
Then,
all other things. Yeah.
I see, I see. So how about license and all? Did you apply yet
Yeah,
or like are
I'm
you
gonna do
still
my
looking?
G2. I'm gonna do my G2 this the coming Wednesday.
I see. Okay,
So
good luck
it's
for
like the
that.
basic thing is like that is the main thing which I was about to tell. Students like who's coming from India or any other country, we have to bring the DL extract from that government.
Yes.
So driving license extract, we have to get it from the RTOs or the government offices. So that if we bring that document over here, that shows you have experience in driving. And so in here in Drive Test Canada, they'll get that document and your passport for your verification, and then they'll approve you for your G1. So after getting G1, either you should have your friend or someone like that who have a G license, so that you can drive their car and get
Right.
practice, or you can go to a driving school.
Right.
So these are the two things. So I already had an experience in Oman as well. So I didn't have to take much classes. So maybe I took 2 classes, and this Wednesday I'm going to write my G2.
Oh wow, good luck.
Yeah, I can write G as well because like more than 5 years experience, we can take G, but G is a little competitive thing. So
I
what I thought is like I'll take a G2, and like with G2 also it is feasible for you to drive inside the city, so no problem.
I see.
We'll
But
all,
you can also exchange your driving license if that country is eligible for exchange program. So I don't
maybe,
know if
but
Oman is eligible for it.
Oman isn't eligible, so I didn't have the chance to exchange my license.
I see. I know US and Australia are there for sure for exchange program. Almost similar rules, I guess. Especially US because I know about US.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a good option, I would say, because you don't have to wait for that long. I guess from G1 to G is like all the way 3 to 4 years.
yeah,
So yeah, so it's a slow process, but I guess it will give you a good experience to
yeah,
understand driving rules and like how Canada is different from other
yeah.
countries. So you will get that exposure.
That was correct. I applied my visa on October. Okay,
Ah,
like 2020 October, and I got my visa approved and printed on April.
wow, really? That's a long
Long
time.
time, yeah. So
Six
now
months of
nothing is
process.
like permanent because like everything changes.
Yeah, but hopefully now, like, there won't be any restrictions for vaccinated travelers to
Mm.
travel. So that is a good thing. But we never know because it's COVID. And
Now
we
it's cold situation, so nothing is like.
so yeah, we can't predict anything. Yeah. So thank you, Madan, for sharing your experience and for your valuable time. I hope it will help people when they'll be applying and preparing for Canada studies. So I think this session was very helpful. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Apsana. It was a wonderful opportunity for me as well, so that like what I convey, it will reach some students and it will be helpful for them to getting themselves prepared
Yes.
when they reach Canada. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, something like that.
Now you're like an interviewer. Okay.
Do you have light in front of you? Something?
I'm not doing any YouTube videos to have the focus light on me.
That thank you speech is important, right?
Thank you, Zico.